What's going on, YouTube? My name's Captain Crush. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to discuss NBA player propositions via daily fantasy sports apps like PrizePicks, Sleeper, etc. Today I'm going to mention around 3 must plays that I think you should absolutely be targeting in all your contests, but I'm also going to mention a lot more darts for NFL, NBA. I'm going to go over that shortly, but first I wanted to say thanks for checking out my channel, and if you don't mind, hit that like button and give me a subscribe. I hate asking, but this is the world we live in. First things first, a situation that I get asked about all the time. Cap, what do you use to research? Cap, what do you do? Okay, this is one of the main sites that I use. I have a ton of tools, folks. I spend around $250 to $300 a month on tools alone, and all these different websites for NFL, NBA, PGA. This is just what I do because I also use DraftKings. It's the nature of the beast. Just like any other hobby, like golf, it costs money to do it. This is the same thing. This is probably a very expensive one, but yes. So this right here, this puppy is called Outlier Bet, and you can get on here and give it a shot for 30 days free if you use promo code CRUSH. Just go to app.outlier.bet/crush or use it, download it on your phone, Android, Apple, all that. I like the web application because it loads quickly. It has all the games, the props for NFL, NBA, all that stuff. It's not just a plug because I get a kickback, but it's just an absolute beast of an application. I highly recommend it. All the links are in the description of this video if you want to check it out. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes. The reason you're here, you want to talk about those NBA player props because we have been blessed with a 12-game slate. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? Me personally, I believe that the sweet spot is going to be 5 to 7 games every single day. And if the NBA did that, my oh my, I might be a rich man. But no, they want to give us 2 games on one day, 3 on another, and then bang, 12. And it's just so much to handle. With that in mind, there's tons of things to talk about on this slate. Now, the first step of your process, here we are back at Outlier, but there's plenty of places where you can get this for free. The first step of your process has to be, it must be, I cannot state this enough. If you're not doing this as step 1, uninstall because you're so far behind in the race, Captain Crush can't even help you. I'm just kidding. I'm here to help you. So this is step 1. You're going to go to whatever app, whatever you're using, and you're going to look at all the games. We got 12 of them. You need to be looking at the spreads, which is right here, Atlanta OKC 1.5 point, and you need to look at this puppy over here, the point total, over under 246.5. My oh my, can you get any more points? No, you can't. 246.5 for an NBA total might as well be Christmas morning around here for Captain Crush. So I'm telling you right now, this game will be juicy and fantasy ridden, full of points, and I will be targeting both sides of it. You absolutely can take that to the bank. Now, does it mean it's guaranteed to go off and be a great game? No, because the under is still a bet and you could still take the under. But this line being at 246.5 tells you all you need to know. It's going to be within that range. And the spread being 1.5, ooh, you love to see it. It should be a close game, no blowout. Hawks Thunder? Yes, let's go. Now, let's go back up. And we got Spurs Pacers 238. Another juicy game, over under 238. But what sticks out like a sore thumb, like the fly in the ointment? 9-point spread favoring Indiana. That you hate to see. But you know what? These spreads aren't always right. Again, Vegas doesn't always get the spreads right. It's there for you to choose over or under on the 9. You can take this or you can take that because the Spurs could cover. You never know. It's just a gauge. It's just something to see what could happen. And then we got the Grand Poobah. Wizards 76ers. Ooh, 11.5 point spread. I hate to see it. And a 227 total, which is solid, but I hate to see that spread. So with that in mind, we got those 3 games, and I left one out because of course I did. There's 12. We got this Lakers versus Miami Heat, but the Lakers are actually dogs by 1.5 point with 222. Now, a lot of you be like, Cap, I'm skipping through that. I don't care about that. I don't need to know the why. It's above my pay grade. I just need to see the picks. Show me the picks, man. Bruh, let me tell you something. That mindset, it ain't hitting. I'm here to help you build a process, my brother. I'm here to help you get a process, because without a process, you're drawing dead. You're swimming upstream without a paddle. It's not good. I'm begging you to get a process, at least something, bro. If you want a blind tail, sure, but if it chalks, don't cry about it. Now let's talk about it. We did have a 3-day heater in NBA, and I did okay yesterday in NBA as well. Of course, the throwaway slip I put in, of course it went 5 of 5. I didn't even have a chance to post in my Discord because I don't do NBA on Sundays. By the way, for those that are new into my Discord, hey, I appreciate all the new faces showing up. Abide by my rules, and you and me, we're gonna get along just fine. But that being said, on Sunday, Captain does 2 things, 3 things actually: church, football, and family. That's it. So the Discord live streams are very rare, if at all, on Sundays while football season's going on. Even without football season, it's hard for me to do a live stream on Sunday. I don't do them. I don't really do NBA on Sunday because I'm consumed by NFL. I sweat my lineups on DraftKings, etc. But Monday through Friday, I'm all ears, answering questions. I'm in the court at least 120 hours during the week, and I throw in on Saturdays. Usually I like to go golf, but I still do live streams and whatnot on Saturdays. I help out the court. You guys help me, I help you. I'm a man of the people. So now that we got that out of the way, I know I'm going around and talking about things that you don't care about, but some people do care about it, so we got to get it out of the way. Now let's see. As I was saying, we have 12 games today, but they haven't really updated this board with full things. There wasn't a lot of fantasy scores last time I looked, so hopefully as I'm doing this live, no script, we can maybe see. First man up, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been proving all the haters and doubters, myself included, wrong. He's been getting it done this season. Granted, it's a small sample size, but even as you can see here, 33 burger, 42 burger, 39 burger, 30 burger, and a 29 burger. The man has been getting it done. He's been stepping up. He's been filling in shoes, and now they go and they faced Washington Wizards. Listen, everybody that was talking about the Wizards being a good team preseason, I hate to say it, but I'm victory lapping you because you were wrong. Captain was right. What's new? Okay. Poole, not him. Kuzma, he's okay. The rest of them, no dog. The team, they're always going to be poverty. Why? Because they just are. They're the former Bullets. But this is what we got. Tobias Harris is in a pace-up spot. You know Captain likes to target the pace-up spot. He's in an elite matchup. I hate that the last 5 have been green beans because everything signals in my head that he's due for some regression. But now, I'm going to the handy-dandy notepad. You already know. Tobias Harris is projected for 32 fantasy points given my fantasy simulation model. 18% usage rate. I wish it was a little bit higher, not gonna lie. 0.96 fantasy point per minute. Not that great, but if he projects for 35 minutes, which he does, okay, he should cover this. Now, I will say this. There's blowout potential here. Remember, I showed you the spread. 11.5 point spread, buddy. So if that full point spread has you a little bit nervous, you can take on over here to Tobias Harris at first half, and you could dabble with any one of these 3 would be okay. They're basically cut in half from his original line. So 14 first half fantasy score, 11.5 PRA first half, 7.5 first half points, whatever. Dealer's choice. You decide. But for me, for this particular one, I'm going to have the full game and just pray that it's not a blowout. And even if it is, he can still get this done in 3 quarters. Is it likely? No. We will need him to play 30 to 32 minutes to cover this projection. If he doesn't play 30 to 32 minutes, chalk it. Okay, unless he just comes out and just goes absolutely beast mode on the way to a blowout. But I do have him here. He's one of the many guys that I'll be targeting today, and he's absolutely on my list of props in the cord. Now let's move on to number 2. Who else do I like? Well, Anthony Davis, the unibrow himself. Can you believe it? Captain Crush advocating for Anthony Davis. You've never seen it. You hate to see it, but here we are. Okay, man has been playing like he's been possessed by some demon that's actually good at basketball. Blocks and steals, the man gets 3 to 6 a game right now. That's freaking 9 to 18 fantasy points alone. Throw in the points, the rebounds, the potential assists, and we got a recipe where 53 fantasy points is just a smidge too low. Now, I'm going to caveat this with this. There's always a catch. There's always a fly in the ointment. Anthony Davis, 53 fantasy points. Most likely, this is what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to see, ooh, I'm casual Joe Blow better, and I see last 5 green beans. It's going to hit, right? It's going to hit. And he's going to go over here, and he's going to click more by that reason alone, and that means this line is probably going to get bumped up. Now, so I'm telling you this early. If you want to play this, you better get it in early. Now, it's a 2-point spread, I believe. I think it was 1.5 or 2 point where Lakers are actually the dog, which actually is good for us because we don't want a blowout. So hopefully Anthony Davis can come out and get it done. I'll revert to my notepad right quick for the loyals that are all about the notepad. And we got Anthony Davis projected for 53.5 fantasy points in the sim model, 25% usage rate. 25% usage rate for a big man should be sending those alarm bells bang, off in your head saying, wow, that's a big one for a big man. And 1.49 fantasy points per minute, okay? If you don't want to target his fantasy point, you say, Cap, he's due regression. I'm not going to begrudge you a bit because absolutely he's due regression. Like I said, he's been playing like a demon, but he could be doing this all season long. So I want to get in on it now. He's been cashing me. If they haven't been cashing you, I would stay away from him, but this is what it is. If you don't want to go to this fantasy score, because if he doesn't get blocks and steals, he's probably not going to cover this. You can go to his points or his rebounds or even his first half points would be fine with me. Now, as I've said before, a lot of the lines are out of sync right now because it's early in the season and the people that make the lines, just like us, they have data and it's still updating, and that's just how it's going to be. We want to buy low and sell high, which means in this application, we want to get the guys while their fantasy scores are lower than they should be, a la Aaron Gordon, and then when they get high at the peak, we want to get off of them. And I just don't think this is peak for Anthony Davis or Tobias Harris yet. I think they're going to go a smidge bit higher and settle out right around 30 for Tobias and maybe 55 for Anthony Davis. It's absurd that I'm saying that 53 is not high enough for Anthony Davis, but I just don't think it is because he has an 80-point ceiling anytime he's on the court. Do with that what you will, buddy. But the matchup, it ain't that great. Miami, what do I always say? They play at a slow pace. That's not good for fantasy, but I'm overriding that and going with everything else that looks juicy, and hopefully we hit. If we don't, we always have tomorrow, buddy. Now, I mentioned Tobias Harris, but I also have written here Kelly Oubre. He has a fantasy projection of 31. At the time of this, they didn't have a point lineup for him, which would be probably around 17 or 18. He has a 23% usage rate and averages 1.2 fantasy points per minute. If he plays 32 minutes, he should cover. Remember, I'm talking about Kelly Oubre. Now, as I said, at the time of this writing, they didn't have his point lineup. So as you can see here on Sleeper, they had a line for his points, and they're actually giving you good odds on it. 1.74x, 17.5 points to go over. That's actually pretty decent. So I took it over here on Sleeper, paired it up with old Finney Smith, the wagon. He's in a high point total, should be a good matchup. Aaron Gordon, if they had an Aaron Gordon fantasy line, bang, we'd be all over it. He was on my Discord list, and then bang, they took him off before I could even put it in a slip. He was at 29 fantasy points, and then they removed it. I'm still taking it. Again, I'm riding that train till I get forced off. And then, the guy we're about to talk about, remember I told you about that juicy Hawks game, Chet Holmgren, a man among boys. 23.5 points plus rebounds. I like it. Why, Cap? I like his points individually. I like his rebounds. I like it all. I want his fantasy score, but it's not up on PrizePicks. Now, what app is this, Cap? This is Sleeper. You can use promo code CRUSH over there. They'll match your deposit up to $100, and then you're playing on house money for a while. But on top of that, the biggest bang dollar of them all, you'll get a free 30-day trial of my Discord if you DM me that you used my code. I will check out it. I will give you a link to join the Cord, 30 days free. That's for new Cord members only, guys, not for former and not for current. It's for new Cord members only, and this applies for Parlay, Play, Chalkboard, any of those. Use code CRUSH. So let's go back over here to PrizePicks, and you can see they did add the fantasy score for Kelly, but his real point line still isn't up, as I said. So you can take his. I would not take Tobias Harris and Kelly in the same slip. Do not do that. So the people skipping around that see that, they're going to be disappointed, okay? All right, it's no secret. I just showed you there on Sleeper. I liked his points rebounds. So let's talk about Mr. Chet Holmgren. 26.5 PRA. This is a disclaimer, folks. I personally want his fantasy score, but for now, we have to deal with the cards we're given. We don't have a fantasy score, okay? But when that puppy comes up, you take it. I have him projected for around 38 to 40 fantasy points. Remember, Shy's out. If he happens to get ruled in, which I don't think he will, all bets are off. But for now, 26.5 PRA or his 23.5 points rebounds, just his points, just his rebounds. It's dealer's choice, but you need to have exposure to Mr. Chet, okay? Absolutely. You got to target him today. 246 point total for the Hawks game. That's absolutely absurd, and you, sir, need to target it. Now, another guy that's from that same game, because remember, that's the juiciest game on the slate. We got to get exposure. A solid run back with that would be DeJounte Murray. Ooh, man, DeJounte's been cashing me. Last game, it was a sweat. It's always a sweat. I got people in the Cord being like, oh, it was a sweat. Bro, every line is always a sweat. There's nothing free. There's no such thing as locks. It's always going to be a sweat. Trust me. Just because someone covers in a half doesn't mean it was free. I promise you that. It's always a sweat. Don't kid yourself. Don't buy into the fancy buzzwords and hype. Stay grounded. I like to operate in reality. How about you? All right? So DeJounte Murray, you can target anything here. His PRA 32.5 is decent. I like it. You could target just his points and assists. You could target just his points. He shot 20 times last game and only made 8. So he's due a little bit of a bounce back. His shooting percentage should go up. He's pretty decent. But again, what does Captain want? I want that fantasy score, buddy. And I want it like I need air. But it's not on here right now, so I'm going to have to wait. Same thing when they finally put Mr. Onyeka Okongwu. I want his real points. It's probably going to come in at 8.5 to 9 today. Had him at 8.5 last time, and bang, he soared over. He went for like 15 or more. If they put Onyeka Okongwu on here, his points, his fantasy score, any of that, buddy, you need to get on it. No games. Get on it. Ask questions later. And now let's go see if they have our wagon from last season and sometimes this season. Oh, baby. They don't have his fantasy, but Clint Capella, first half. If they put that fantasy up there, you can target it. It's been a wagon last season, and it's been solid this season. I wouldn't take his PRA. This has been as high as 13.5. But if you do want to take his PRA, you can. As you can see, the last couple, he didn't really hit, but he does. Look at this, 19 against Milwaukee. But with Onyeka Okongwu, which is the other center on that team in the mix, it makes me not like Clint as much. So that's why I am waiting for Okongwu, and you better believe, you can bet every dollar you got that Captain's playing Okongwu tonight. I love those big men on the floor. Pause. You hate to hear it, but let's ride. Now, we've been blessed with some Spurs and Pacers action, and they actually added some of these propositions that weren't here earlier just now. There's a lot of Spurs questionable. I believe Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell were both questionable, but what do I want to tell you guys? Even though Miles Turner has been good, he sold the bag last game. He was the one guy, the fly, that literally kept us from getting 10x or 25x, I can't remember, but the fact still remains. He was in foul trouble. The man's an animal on the court. He just is. He was in a great matchup last time. All the money was on him, and he only had 23 fantasy points. He was in foul trouble, so I will take another shot on him. His fantasy score at 35.5. I wish it was lower. If you want to target his points or just his rebounds or something, you can, but he's absolutely in play. But where I'm actually gonna go is Zach Collins, because as much as I like Miles Turner, I know that he doesn't really pose a threat to opposing centers. How do I know that? Because I've been watching carefully this season, and I've been seeing bigs just go off on the Pacers. Mark Williams, anyone? Man just ate his lunch. Same with Mobley. So now I'm going to target Zach Collins. He might get, remember, it's a juicy point total, and he also might be in a situation to where Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell don't play. So if that comes, I actually like him even more. The only thing I don't like about this matchup is the blowout factor. It is a 9-point spread favoring the Pacers. But come on, do we really think the Pacers are going to be blowing teams out? I'm not sure, but I absolutely think you should target him. Now, remember what I'm telling you. These aren't core plays. These 3 can be core plays, but the rest of them that I'm talking about are dart throws, meaning you don't want to have full-blown exposure to all these guys. These are just people to sprinkle in. Collins, Turner, and the wagon himself, Tyrese Halliburton. Oh my goodness, 45.5 fantasy score. He's just been crushing. 63 versus Charlotte. I said this in my cord. He's got a 70-point ceiling. I told you guys right before the game started, the man has a 70-point ceiling. Do with it what you will, and he went for 63, okay? That's when you want to be on them, when they hit their ceiling. We play this game to players to hit their ceiling. And sure enough, he led me right into a 10x slip, boys. And that, my friends, is how the game is played. So as I said before, there's so many different props on the board that I could talk about. I just don't want to go ahead and talk about everything. I'm saving that for my Discord live stream. I may even do a TikTok live stream today. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But 100%, there's going to be a Discord live stream probably around 3 or 4 Central, and that is where I'll answer everyone's questions about models, what they like. Well, I'm going to build a slip for you guys. Can we go 10x again? Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But again, we got Monday Night Football. We got full 12 games. There's going to be a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. I hope to see you guys there. I will say this, Fred VanVleet, I don't like the point total, don't like the spread, but I will say this. He's been crushing lately. He's in an elite spot tonight. He's got 39 fantasy points. He just put up a 50 burger, which is probably his ceiling. But as you can see, 40, 20, 20, 48. We used the last 5 to determine floors and ceilings in a recent sample, nothing else, okay? So we can see he has a floor of 22, but he's got a ceiling of 50. So at 39, you have 11 points off where he still has room in that gap to hit his ceiling, and that's good. So he's another one you can take as a dart throw, and I have a lot more to discuss, and I'm saving that for my cord. I'm not really here to give it all away. I gotta save stuff to the people who support me, and that is what I will do. But I did want to talk about these for the YouTube faithful. These are solid, and you know my process, darts and everything else. I gave you, don't forget, listen to me carefully. Don't forget about Okongwu, because he's not going to forget about Captain Crush tonight, because he's going out there and he's cashing me. Unless the line is egregious or something like that. But I got a lot of faith in him tonight. When he shows up, bang, targeted. Now, I said I was going to talk about some NFL, so here we are. Last night's NFL game, I had a pretty decent sweat and showdown. I did pretty good. I did pretty all right. I put out a final 6-man prop for the night and NBA games and the night games last night. It went 4 of 6. What are you going to do? You know, I got some of it back, but I had Zaire Williams chalk. I needed 10.5 points. He got 6. And then I had Stephon Diggs hook, 86.5 yards. He got 86. What can you do, man? The hooks are real. Now, I'd go through and show you some winning slips and from my Discord right now, but actually Discord is being weird, so I can't go look at my daily props. But I did have Austin Eckler at 26 or 28.5 receiving yards. Now when I posted the list, now he's all the way up to 34.5. I posted that a few days ago, but if you still want to take him at 34.5, he's in play. It's high, but this is his role in the offense. He's not really efficient on the ground as far as in between the tackles and running. You can see he just played the Bears and he broke off 95, but then with the Chiefs, he only had the 1. I think he got injured there. A 35 bomb here, a 47 burger there, and an 8 ball there. But that was from January, and so was that. We don't even look at those. But the Chargers should come out tonight after how they played last week, and they should handle business. My goodness, did they have an elite game last time they were on the field. I believe they were in a primetime spot, so I'm pretty sure that it was a Thursday night game, so they had a long time to prepare for the Jets as well. It should be over and done with. Chargers get that W. So that's the game script you want to have. You want a script that the Chargers get the win, which means that Zach Wilson's going to be throwing from behind, so you'd want to target Breece Hall's receiving yards, Garrett Wilson's receiving yards. Any one of these is going to be fine. For that particular script, you could do this right here. Zach Wilson, more 31.5 passing attempts, and then you could either take Garrett Wilson's receptions or his receiving yards. But I do like the receptions because we get that handy dandy push equity, okay? And then there's a couple other ones that I have them locked up in the Discord. We'll discuss this again on the live stream, possibly on TikTok, but for sure in the cord. Now, for the new guy asking, hey Cap, how do I get in the cord? Well, you just go to captaincrush.net, bang, and then you go to gold package, $24.99 a month, bang, you get it. Or you can get it paid by the month, or you can go and you can get a 6-month package, which is like $125, so you save $25. It's a promotion that's doing right now. You get 5 months and then you get 1 free. That's an option there as well. And that'll tide you over all the way to the end of NBA and NFL, just in time for summer. Remember, CaptainCrush.net. You can't beat it with a stick. I'm giving you guys value. Every week, I provide NFL projections. I have my website for NBA being built, which will be a different animal on its own, but I can't wait for that to come out. And I'll always have these daily YouTubes for the faithful. Remember, the key is this. Listen to my YouTubes. Get on the live stream if you can in the Discord and pay attention to the list. That is the keys, boys. I'm not going to be right every day, but when I am right, I leave Nagasaki behind. I'm telling you right now. 6 25x slips the other day after a week cold streak. It just was nuclear. That is how I roll, because it all catches up. It all evens out in the end. A lot of folks got airdrops today from old PrizePicks. Your boy Cap didn't get anything, but that's okay because I had myself a weekend. Now, I'll leave you guys with this. That Warriors-Detroit game, if Duran for some reason sits, they rule people out on the Pistons all the time, but if he somehow were to sit, you want to go to Azur Thompson. You can target his PRA, his points, or even his points rebounds, which would probably be the one that I'd target. But to be honest, if they had his fantasy score up here, that is the one that I would target. All of his lines right now is definitely high. All of these lines are higher than what they should be for him, but I still think there might be a smidge of wiggle room there, and I do like the matchup. I'm not afraid of the Warriors doing anything to stop people in the paint or down low between the 4 and the 5. I will take Thompson, and I'll take Duran, possibly, maybe both in separate slips, or maybe one, or maybe not at all. I'm just throwing that out there. Full disclosure, my model has both of those guys going for 31 to 32 fantasy points. It doesn't like any of the individual props, but I felt that it was worth mentioning. Remember, last thing, Tobias, blowout potential, Anthony Davis, you can take him and feel decent about it. And Chet, you can take his PRA or his fantasy score. And when Jalen Williams, his teammate, comes up his fantasy score, you can take that or even his PRA. Folks, I bid you farewell. I appreciate you stopping by to watch my videos. I really do. I appreciate it. The YouTube channel is growing like a weed. I think I gained like 500 subs last week, which is absolutely amazing. And it's all thanks to you guys liking and sharing the video and commenting. I appreciate that. I really do. That's why I come out here every single day and try to give you guys value. If I can provide value for you, then I feel good and I can sleep well at night. With that being said, I'm giving you a grand salute. There's 12 games in NFL. Hopefully we can find 5 and get that 10x. Good luck tonight in all your contests, and let's crush.